Fellow alumni and alumni, it is exactly 1 year and 8 months since my last report. I said this because immediately after our last live celebration on February 8, 2020, for our third annual Grand Alumni Homecoming, or the AGA3 for short, the whole world was struck with a pandemic, and so we felt that it would be insensitive to release my report prior to the recent all-virtual celebration last February 1 to 16, 2021, for our fourth annual Grand Alumni Homecoming, or the AGA4. We all know that we continue to experience the challenges of dealing with COVID-19, especially in the Philippines. However, with hopeful signs of vaccine progress, we feel that there's a strong possibility of us celebrating live once again on February 9 to 12, 2022, for our fifth annual Grand Alumni Homecoming, or the AGA5. So here's my report to you as your Alumni Board Treasurer. I'm happy to report that for AGA3, our last live celebration, we have reached the level of collections that we can say is just sufficient to fund. First, the perfect level of expenses for our main alumni event, which is now we call Fiesta Gala going forward. And second, while we made sure that about 10% of these collections is for our Giving Back project to our school to fund the expenses for our career talk dubbed The Power of Two. Allow me to discuss each one when I present expenses later after my talk about the collections first. As we all know, our recently concluded AGA4 last February was celebrated for the very first time as all virtual. So there were no collections and accordingly also no expenses paid, which we will see in all the slides I will present to you. Thanks to all alumni volunteers, especially batch 1996, who were current Silver Jubilarians for this year. For AGA3 collections, 70% came from the sponsors. The brown color in the graph, we had a new record of 52 sponsors in total. 14% came from paying attendees of still a low fee of 500 pesos, the red color in the graph. 16% came from generous alumni donors, the blue color in the graph, who covered the shortfall in our collections to pay off all the expenses. Our top 5 sponsors came from the following batches: 1978, 1982, 1974, 1973, and 1980. As to the attendee collections again, batch 1978 led us last AGA3, followed by batches 1980, 1976, and 1982. There were 250 attendees who graced the occasion, including, as always, complimentary entry for former faculty. By keeping the joining fee as low as 500 pesos, we only collected 69,000 pesos from attendees. Now let's talk about the expenses. Our AGA3's main event was updated to our times. We held it at the largest air-conditioned ballroom in our town. We had an LED wall to virtually set the right moments for each part of the program. We had our lunch catered by the best in town, Rustica. We hired professional videographer, photographer, sounds and lighting provider. Our souvenir program featured several pages of sponsors and memorable photos of previous AGAs. We awarded 28 distinguished alumni. Compared with the past AGAs, we spent 50% more than the AGA 1 and almost twice more compared with AGA 2. On behalf of the Alumni Board and our AGA 3 Grand Marshals, Ida David of Batch 1961, Jerry Hiron of Batch 1973, and Rose Alday of Batch 1978, we thank each and everyone who supported and attended our last live celebration on February 8, 2020, and likewise our volunteer speakers for the Power of Two on February 7, 2020. We look forward to our next live celebration, hopefully this coming February. But with having in mind that if the situation would still not allow large gatherings, we will celebrate once again virtually. Let's continue to pray for wisdom from the Holy Spirit through the continuous intercessions of our Immaculate Mother and Saint Dominic.